flying high, you know how I feel.
Thank you so much again. We're so happy to talk to you about Feeling Good and just how your whole new cover. So before we get started with that, I just would like to know how you got started within music.
Oh, well, gosh, that's a loaded question. I got started in music, for as long as I can remember being alive, I've been drawn to music. And so my earliest foray into learning the craft, I guess, was probably when I started these sort of weird public school piano lessons when I was around 6. And then I started taking lessons from a private instructor when I was about 8. But pretty much for as long as I can remember, I've been, into music. Yeah.
Wow, that's so awesome. So, and who became your musical influences when you were starting out?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was very much into the big bands of the time, like in the late 70s, early 80s. So I'm talking about Earth, Wind and Fire, early Cameo, Kool and the Gang, any band that had a big horn section, because I was really into horns. Like I thought I wanted to be a horn player, and I couldn't really articulate what I wanted to do, but now that I'm grown, I think I wanted to be a horn arranger. So that's what I was really into. All of that, you know, like that's all I wanted to do. And then I started listening to more vocalists um, as I sort of got a little bit older, and I'm talking like pre-teens. Yeah, I was very much into Michael Jackson, of course. I was very much into Diana Ross, those kinds of things. Anything that my aunt had in her collection, I would listen to because I didn't have my own record collection. So Diana Ross, Shaka Khan, the Bar-Kays, Heat Wave, all that kind of stuff. I was really into. And then of course, as I started to get my own collection together, and as kids become more independent, I started getting more into hip hop and really became a B girl. But my influences are very much Michael Jackson, Diana Ross, Sly Stone, Minnie Riperton, that kind of stuff.
So with that kind of being said, with now your cover of Feeling Good, was there any moments where you alluded to those influences that you're like, I have to include this specific section because it reminds me so much of, my influences? Was there a moment in that?
Yeah, my mother used to play Nina Simone all the time, and she probably thought I wasn't listening. She probably thought I wasn't paying attention. You're like, that's just mom's music. But I was paying attention, and it's so evident in the fact that I remade this song because Feeling Good was one of, the songs that Nina Simone made so popular. And the reason this song came about, my remake of it, was because Dominique Xavier, the keyboard player who produced the track, he and I were doing these live stream shows, and we were sound checking, and he was playing those chords, and I just started singing, "Birds flying high, you know how I feel," and I didn't even know that song. Like I had never even performed that song ever in my life, but it came to me over the chords he was playing. Even though those chords didn't match the song, I had to rework the melody to make it work. But that's what my heart drove me to sing. And it all stems back to my mother playing me those records when I was a kid. So thanks, Mom. You never know when your kid's listening.
Absolutely. Yeah. I too very influenced by my parents' music, so I can understand where you're coming from with that. And
Totally.
how I got into music was from, having those experiences as well. So I can relate to you on that. So is there any, like, do you have a story in particular that you were sharing with your mom when listening to these records?
Um, you know, it was just one of those things. Saturday mornings was when she would play her albums because that was cleaning day. We clean up the apartment or the house or wherever we were living. And and my mom would often sit with me because if she was playing me something that might have been a little mature for my age, for instance, and she would sit there and read the lyrics with me and talk it through so I understood what was being said and why it was being said. And that was sort of my introduction to literature, to be honest with you, um, in the form of music, because she made such a point to make sure that I understood the lyrics and understood why certain things were being said. And that really got me into, I think, songwriting, you know. It all stems from those early introductions to the broader culture, you know, that our parents give us. It's so important. I'm so thankful, you know, because I can't imagine growing up and not knowing feeling good, for instance, you know, but I know kids who did. And I'm like, wow, how do you not know this song? Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. You know, yeah, it's such an important thing to do. Just to intentionally, I think, make sure that your the people you care about are exposed to culture, not passively, but just very much intentionally, you know.
But before we get kind of more into like the in-depth of feeling good, we talked a little bit about with those influences and hearing that story with your mom and just seeing how meaningful creating this cover is for you and the version that you did create with Dominic. Why do you think it's important too for yourself and for other artists to continue to make covers and to continue to remake the songs?
Oh man, you know, making covers and remaking songs, it's so important for a lot of reasons. For one, it's a way of keeping those songs and those very specific stories alive. Um, the stories of the songs, the stories of the artist. A lot of times, if you remake a song, people go back and listen to the original, and then they might find out that the original wasn't even the original. You know, like people are like Nina Simone's original, you know, Feeling Good, but it actually wasn't Nina Simone. That's a cover from a Broadway show, and I learned that this time around. You know, um, so so you get to learn not only about the song when you're remaking covers, you're teaching people about the history of the song, but you're also learning more about the artist who made them. Um, and then it's also important just sort of uh, to sort of show your respect for the original song, for the songwriter, for the artist. You know, it's a way of paying homage. You know, if I don't have the means to give someone a Grammy, you know, I'm not the Grammy board, but I can give you this, which is my heart, you know, and my appreciation by doing what I hope is a meaningful version of this song, you know.
And so, what do you hope that feeling good for you and for your listeners who hear it, excuse me, what do you hope that they
Dog.
would get? Oh, very nice. Good morning. What do you hope that this will bring for them? Not only the history portion, but what did you hope that you would create for that?
Yeah, you know, my whole intention for releasing this when I did um, was which I released it on December 30th, 2020. I wanted to very intentionally project some optimism and hope going into 2021. It's been such a crazy, hard year for all of us, you know. Um, 2020 was unprecedented for most of us. None of us have lived through a pandemic before, unless you're, you know, at least 100. So, you know, this was a life-changing moment for the entire world, you know, and it wasn't looking as hopeful as many of us wanted it to. But I've been practicing choosing joy in 2020, and just like anything else, being joyful takes practice. And you don't just wake up on the right side of the bed if you don't practice doing that, you know. And some of the ways that I did it were, you know, exercising, writing in my journal, sometimes meditating, but also music. Like that's obviously the thing I go to. So I thought, feeling good was a way of doing that, could be a way of doing that. At least that was my hope. That's my intention. So that's why I released Feeling Good. And in my arrangement, I don't even get to the part where I say, and I'm feeling good until the end of the song. And that's kind of on purpose. I wanted to really focus the mood on all of these beautiful things, birds in the sky flying high, all of that. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And emphasize that part for me, right? Because it's important that we take care of ourselves first. We can't really be the citizens that we want to be if we're not good within first. So accepting all of these things, the sun is shining brightly for me. The birds are flying high. It's a beautiful day for me. Then I can take that energy and put it out into the places that I think it can go. Uh, and I'm feeling good. And that be the vamp of the song. That's why I kind of did all that. I hope that makes sense. Is that weird?
Oh, no, absolutely. Yeah, just hearing that, just hearing the joy I can hear in your voice with this song is just so inspiring. And I can imagine with people going through this pandemic, hearing something like this, especially your fans and for new listeners for you, that it would inspire that hope and that joy for them. So touching upon that, do you have any like fun stories when you were recording this with Dominique?
Um, we're in the middle of a pandemic, so this whole thing took place virtually. I'm not used to recording myself. This is something I had to learn to do in 2020. And my engineer, Grant Nicholas, shout out to Grant Nicholas, he moved from LA to Baltimore. So I wouldn't have been able to record with him anyway, even if we weren't in a pandemic. Dominique did the track wherever he was. I think he might have been on the road. He might have been in Houston. So all of this is taking place via, the wonders of the internet. The only funny story or anecdote I can say is, I can't believe that I'm sitting upstairs in my attic recording myself. I can't believe Dominique is in his hotel room or wherever he was doing the track. I can't believe that we're able to send the stems, that's, in recording, some of your listeners might not know, the stems are all the tracks, right? So we're sending the stems to my engineer, and we put all this together. My good friend Lee James did the artwork. He lives out in the valley. Uh, and all of this is just done without any of us seeing each other. And I think there's something to be said about using technology um, in a way that brings us closer, even in times when we can't be together. There's something kind of beautiful about that, and we got it done, and that's a beautiful thing. I didn't see Dominique in person until we shot the video for it a month later. You know, so it's just I'm just happy that we were all that we were all able to embrace technology and make it work for us. Because if you had asked me in 2019 would I record myself, I'd be like, nope. I'm going to the studio.
Wow. And so with that being said, so you were like, okay, I got to record myself now. So was there a particular part that you were just so overjoyed and ecstatic? Like once you got it done, was there a part that stood out to you and you just knew that this was going to be good?
When there are a couple of things. First of all, the introduction threw me off so much. I probably did it about 40 times because at first I was doing it the way the original went, the way Nina Simone's went. And I realized I can't do it that way because it almost makes the listener anticipate the original chords coming in. And if that doesn't happen, the listener is going to have some anxiety, right? So, so I had to figure that out. Like, oh, I can't sing my introduction the way she sings hers. I have to sing it the way my version goes. And once I figured that out, I was like, Eureka! Now it's working. And so I was glad that I got to that point. The other part where I was really, really excited was when I started laying the backgrounds in the vamp. And feeling good, feeling good, feeling good, feeling good, feeling good. And I just kept stacking them higher and higher. Feeling good, feeling good, feeling good, feeling good. Like I just kept going higher and higher, but I loved making that big stack of choral harmonies, because it just harkened back to all the music that I loved, all those Shaka Khan songs with the big stacks and all the Diana Ross songs with all those stacks and the Michael Jackson stuff. It just made me feel like that again, and I loved it. I loved it.
Wow. And so when I was looking for your interview today, I saw that Feeling Good just went #1 on the radio airplay experts charts, and giving that all consideration, what it made you feel, and just hitting that #1 spot. Congratulations on that, first of all. But what does
Thank you.
Of course, absolutely. What does it mean to you to see this happen?
It's just a wonderful acknowledgement of the part that every single person played. Dominique Xavier on the track, Grant Nicholas on the mix and the mastering, myself on the vocals, but also, my mother on feeding me such wonderful culture, my father on feeding me such beautiful harmonies, um, eh, all of my, choir directors and music teachers and every single person in my life who has contributed to my understanding of the craft, contributed to this #1. So I'm just thankful for every single person in my village that raised me up, every single one. Yeah.
Wow. And so hoping it's going to continue the success that it has for you. And it's, again, so exciting, and to see that this has happened for you. And we cannot, for Feminine Roar, be more excited to see that. So is there anything else that you're planning on next after this?
After this, well, can I say it? I don't know if I can say it. I might have to keep it a secret. But but I'm just excited to get back out there and do some shows. Right
That's
now
okay.
yeah, right now I'm promoting the video, which I'm really proud of um, because I wrote the video treatment for the first time in my career as an artist. This is my first time writing my own video treatment. So the video is me, kind of singing the song or whatever, but I'm cleaning up. You know how I talked about Saturday music being for cleanup time? So I'm going through my albums and I'm picking out an album, and I picked this Anita Baker album because that's what, Black households clean up to a lot of times, it's Anita Baker. I put that album on and I immediately start cleaning up the room I'm in. But if you notice in the video, the things that I'm throwing away are negative attributes in my life that I don't need. Self-doubt, recklessness, uncertainty, fear. I'm throwing those things away, literally. And then I leave my room after I've thrown away all these things that I don't need, and I go outside, and these magical bubbles are floating around, and the bubbles have positive attributes that you need. Um, self-assurance, optimism, courage, So I'm picking up the bubbles, and I'm walking, and I see other ladies on the street, and they too kind of look listless, and I'm pointing out the bubbles to them, like, look, just reach up and get what you need, girl, it's right there. And they pick up the bubbles, and then we're walking down the street, and it's just such a cool video, and I'm really proud of it. Oh, and then you see Dominique playing, and where he's playing, there's a sort of Afrofuturistic thing popping, and you see who's blowing the bubbles, and it's another version of me who's this sort of Afrofuturistic goddess, and she's the one blowing the bubbles. And the whole point is, you are your own source of everything you need. It's all right there within you. And I wish I had learned that lesson, 20 years ago. But that's what it's all about, is recognizing that the source of optimism, hope, joy, courage, fearlessness, uh, uh, ambition, all of those sources, everything is right there within you. You just got to tap yourself.
Yeah, again, it's just a beautiful single or cover. When I heard it, I felt all that joy when I heard you sing and heard Dominique on the keys, and it's just so beautiful, and it just a sound. If something could encompass sound or joy as a sound, your single would be it. And it's just unbelievably beautiful. And so again, congratulations what you were able to accomplish with it. We cannot wait to see what it will lead you to. And is there anything else before we end up today? Is there anything else you would like to add before we close
Oh man, I just want to
out?
say thank you.
Oh,
Thank you so much. And I got to shout out Mike Quain, who directed the video for me, and Carla Andrade and Chrissy Dory, who starred in it with me. But thank you for those kind words. It makes me so happy that the song is making people feel like you expressed. So I'm just thankful. Thank you.
oh yeah, absolutely. So if there isn't anything else, well, I'll close out today. But again, it was a pleasure talking to you. And personally, I can't wait to see what else and hear from you. And for
Thank
Feminine
you.
and Roar, we're just again, so excited to be talking. So,
Oh, thank you. It's been
thank
so
you.
good talking with you, and we got through it. Yay!
Yes, we got through it. No more internet issues. So, oh my goodness. And quickly before we close, I was so excited about that. Where can people find you? I know you're taking a social media break right now, but when you're back up on it, where can people find you to find more work?
Yeah, okay, so people can find me at cyberspace on IG and Twitter. It's SYBERSPACE, cyberspace. And on Facebook, I'm at facebook.com/Sy Smith Music. Sy Smith Music, all one word. And if anybody can't remember all of that, they can just go to sysmith.com and they can find me and all my socials right there.
Great. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Ty. It was, like I said, I keep saying it, but it truly was a pleasure. And
Thank
just
you.
you're feeling good. So I hope we're going to have more people feel good after this. So
I love it. Thank you so much. It's been so nice speaking with you.
you as well. So you have a good rest of your day now.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm feeling good.